How about that mid-season finale, bro? Whew. I'm still reeling from it. Spoilers for Better Call Saul Season 6, Episode 7, the mid-season finale. If you haven't seen it, tune away. As you guys can see, I'm wearing that ham indigo blue in honor of our boy Howard, the fallen hero. What an ending to his character. You know, before I get to that, let's just talk about the episode. So the way it opens with them trying to fix the con, and we open with Lalo, you know, in the sewers. And what's crazy about Lalo is that this man will literally dig through shit just to get to the chicken man. Like, he is so committed in his quest for vengeance that there is no depths that he won't sink to. And I just thought that was fascinating, opening with him in that scene. And I wasn't quite sure what was going on here, him going through the sewers and stuff. But then, you know, that shot of him overlooking Gus's laundromat, that I didn't see coming. I actually thought he was watching Gus's house. So that was really cool to see. I think the depths that Lalo's willing to go through to get Gus is insane. Like, he's literally digging through shit, man. Like, I just love those shots of him going through there, and then to see him take a shower and sleep for like a minute. I think it was a minute. Dude's like a Terminator, bro. Like, Lalo's a fucking Terminator. So then, you know, we move to them refilming their scheme, right? They need to make it look like Casimiro has the broken hand. And this whole scene was very funny. See, that's what Better Call Saul does best. It blends humor with the tension. We have that thick tension in the beginning with Lalo. And then we cut to something more light and funny with the whole scheme with Casimiro and refilming it. And it was nice to see, you know, the film kids back, or the film students. It's always nice to see them. They're hilarious. And to be honest, just watching Kim throughout this is almost kind of disturbing, because it's like she's like desperate for this. She's hungry for this. Like, you see how desperate she is when she takes off her heels and runs into the shot, you know? And like, you see it from her that Kim wants this bad. She really wants to mess with Howard. And it's just sick. Like, I've been sick of these last 3 episodes. I personally think it's disgusting what they're doing to Howard, and I hate them for it. So we finally see the scheme come together, and we realize, if you hadn't realized already, what their ultimate goal is and how they're doing it with, you know, putting the drug on the envelope and everything. And it was very elaborate. And the whole time I had this sick knot in my stomach, because there's so many things that can go wrong. And this is the brilliance of the writing team, is that they set a lot of misdirections. Last episode, they talked about if someone has a tolerance to caffeine, this might negatively affect them. And we see Howard drinking his tea and no caffeine. So that puts that thought in your head. Could this mess with Howard? Could it negatively affect him? Could it cause a heart attack? I don't know. And that's the scariest part, is not knowing. And I think the writers did a great job of that. You know, it's almost like we get a calm before the storm. And that moment is in Howard and the young man Carrie, where we go into the conference room and we see Chuck overlooking everything. And it's almost like an ominous kind of like hinting that something bad is going to happen when they show Chuck. But it shows us the good sides of Howard and the bad side. And I really like that, where he drops the sodas and he kind of does his assholey voice, like, do you know what happens when you drop a soda? And you're just like, come on, Howard, you don't need to be a dick to this kid. But then he calmly shows him how to fix it. And I thought that was very sweet. And the fact that he mentioned Chuck taught him that was really nice. It's like this entire time you have this like bad feeling in your gut. Like, you just know something wrong is about to happen. And that's how I felt the entire episode. I felt sick, man. Like, I was worried about what was going to happen. And once the meeting gets going at HHM, things got worse, man. And it was so sad to see Howard be humiliated like that, because he didn't deserve it. And here's my thing about Howard. He is a flawed human being. He did things that he shouldn't have done. He sided with Chuck when he shouldn't have. He should have been kinder to Jimmy. But he, like the rest of us, was just a flawed human being. And no one deserves what Howard went through and the way he went out. And to watch this all go down, I felt sick, dude, watching it. And I felt sick the last 3 episodes, watching them slowly mess with him. It's wrong. It's disgusting. I just didn't like it. And I love how they show kind of the duality of Howard, because they show us that even he has some slipping Jimmy tendencies when he tries to put Irene in the wheelchair for sympathy points. I just thought that was a nice touch. I noticed that. I'm like, Howard, you got your side to you, man. But yeah, so it gets underway, and he starts accusing Casimiro of all that stuff, and everybody's like, what the hell is wrong with you, Howard? And then he runs to his office for the photos, and they're not there. But it's incredible because just like Chuck, Howard knows Jimmy so well. He was able to piece together the entire plan within seconds. Shows the intellect of Howard and how smart he is. And I thought that was very impressive. And like I said, it just was hard to watch. And the most disgusting part of all this is when Kim and Jimmy are listening on their phone. They're turned on by this shit. They're having sex on the couch listening to Howard burn down in flames. And they didn't even need to watch the whole meeting. They knew they had won, and they were turned on by it. And it's disgusting. And this is another reason that I fucking hate Jim and Kimmy now. I really don't like them. They're disgusting people, and Howard was on point with everything he said. And after that, we cut to Lalo back in the sewers. And one thing that I thought was a little strange is I feel like Lalo has been set up to be an incredibly smart and cunning person. For him to call his uncle, I thought was a very dumb move. Like, you wouldn't think Gus has everything tapped. I guess he assumed that Gus thought he was still dead. But with a man as smart as Gus, you never assume. So I didn't really like that. It was just a small nitpick. But again, and then he makes one dumb decision, and it's followed by an incredibly smart one because he uses that to his advantage. And he outsmarts Mike and Gus by getting all his detail pulled from the laundromat to Gus. So then the writers trick us into thinking, oh, they pulled all their men off the laundromat. Now Lalo's gonna storm in there and take it out, but it's not what happens. So I thought Lalo was gonna storm the laundromat. Not for 1 second did I expect he was gonna go to Kim and Jimmy's house. So we cut to Kim and Jimmy, and here comes Howard. And man, Patrick Fabian, give this man an Emmy. This entire season has been his season, man. He was incredible. And in this particular moment, wow. The entire time my heart was broken because you could hear the sadness and the pain in his voice. And he's just laying into Kimmy, and he's asking them questions that we've all been asking, like, why? What did I do to deserve this? And he comes to the conclusion that I think a lot of us came to, that they just like it. They like causing damage. They like conning people. They're two sick, sociopathic individuals. And Howard was on point with everything. His final words to them, what a speech. It's up there with Nachos, but it's just different. And Patrick Fabian, man, he was just on another level with his performance, like, so good. And then the candle flickers, and it's like a fucking horror movie. Slowly, you see the fear on Jimmy's face and on Kim's face, and what a performance by them. Like that, they're terrified. And Jimmy, and they use this weird angle kind of lens on Jimmy's face, like it's like just to show us the fear, like a ghost coming to haunt him. And it's just so good. Like, what an editing choice to use the candle as a flicker to let us know, it's emblematic in many ways, because Chuck died by a candle, and that candle was a signal that death was coming to us, and that death was Lalo. And I just thought that was great. They had Chuck in the drawing, and then they had the candles, and I just thought it was all very well put together. The slow reveal of Lalo, man, it's so intense, and I was frozen in place. I was shocked, and the way they do it, it's like something out of a horror movie. And I love how Lalo comes in like, I'm just here to talk to my lawyers, very calm. And that's what's so scary about Lalo. Like, who does that? Who just can take someone's life like that? He's honestly the most terrifying Salamanca. And then the part that dropped all of us, the way he so coldly just took out Howard, man, that was the hardest thing I've ever had to see. Hank's death, Nacho's death, Drew Sharp's death, this might be the hardest one for me. Because I liked Howard. And even when he was giving his speech to Kim and Jimmy, you know, I will land on my feet. I always do. I'm going to come back from this. Like, he was committed to getting better, to overcoming all the bullshit he had been put through. And to not get the chance and to get killed like that, it hurt me. It broke me. And it affected me in ways I haven't been affected probably since Hank and Ozymandias. But for me, it might be recency bias, but this might be the hardest death I've ever had to see on television. It hurt, man. It hurt so bad. So, that's the episode. Then just more quick thoughts. The tension throughout the episode is incredible. Like I said, the courtroom scene especially, not the courtroom scene, I'm sorry, the meeting, you know, with Schweithart and Coakley, the tension was ratcheted up to 1,000,000 for me because I was worried. It's like every time I saw Howard shake hands with somebody, when I saw him put his hands on Irene, dude, I was shaking. I'm like, oh my God, don't tell me someone's going to die on accident. I thought maybe Ed Bagley Jr.'s character was going to die on accident. Howard, Irene, he was touching hands with everybody. The tension was fucking nuts. I was losing it. I couldn't take it. My heart was beating. I'm like, oh my God, Kim, you're about to get someone killed. I was losing it. Masterful writing. And the way they misdirect us, again, with the line about the coffee, genius. They really misdirected us. My theory for Howard was that he was going to unalive himself. And it felt like that. Like, in that final scene with Kim and Jimmy, I thought he was going to pull out a gun and blow his brains out right in front of Kim and Jimmy. That's what I thought was going to happen. That's what it felt like to me. The entire episode, I was afraid too. I'm like, is Howard going to jump off a building? You know, he's ruined like this entire time. And it speaks to the volume of Howard's character that through all that, he hadn't given up. He had been through worse. He was committed to overcoming it. And that's why I love Howard. God, was it heart-wrenching to watch that, man. The tension throughout the entire episode was incredible. The masterful writing, the character work. It's left us with so many questions, and I can't wait. So, those are my thoughts for this episode. Thank you to everybody for taking the time to watch this. I'm going to be reviewing every episode. I'm going to be reviewing every season of Better Call Saul, starting with season 1. So, if you guys could please stay tuned for that. Promise to get that out as soon as I can. Thank you.